Awakening the Titan. The message arrived on a Tuesday. Humanity had spent decades spreading throughout the solar system. Mars, Europa, Titan, all flourishing outposts of human ingenuity. The interplanetary network connected billions across the vastness of space. It was supposed to be humanity's golden age. Until the transmission. Commander Alexis Chen stood in the United Earth Defense Council chamber, her uniform crisp against her athletic frame, as she watched the alien message replay on the central holographic display. The being had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, with iridescent scales that shimmered like liquid mercury. Its voice came through the translator with unsettling precision. To the leadership of Earth and its colonies, the stellar Concordat has observed your technological advancement and expansion. Your species has been classified as a destabilizing element. You are hereby confined to your home system. Any vessel detected beyond the Kuiper Belt will be considered an act of war and destroyed without warning. This is the unanimous decision of the Concordat Assembly. You have 60 Earth days to recall all exploration vessels. There will be no negotiation. Admiral Rice slammed her fist on the table. They can't cage us like animals in a zoo. We've spent generations building our future among the stars. They can, and they are, General Santos replied, his voice steady but eyes flashing with anger. The scans we've captured of their patrol vessels show technology at least 2 centuries beyond our most advanced systems. Chen remained silent, reviewing the data scrolling across her neural interface. The visitors' ships utilized propulsion systems that bent space-time itself. Earth's best warships would be target practice. Commander Chen, Secretary General Okafor's voice cut through the debate. You've been quiet. What's your assessment? Chen straightened. Madam Secretary, if we submit, we stagnate and eventually die. Our population growth requires expansion beyond Sol. If we fight conventionally, we lose catastrophically. She paused. But there is a third option. Go on, Okafor urged. Project Prometheus. The room fell silent. Even mentioning the classified project was nearly treasonous. That's theoretical technology. Defense Minister Lee objected. Dangerous. Untested. It's not theoretical anymore, Chen replied. The prototype core has been operational for 8 months. Secretary General Okafor studied Chen carefully. You're proposing we build a weapon that violates every international treaty we've established. I'm proposing we build a ship with capabilities the Concordat has never encountered, Chen corrected. Not just a weapon, but a statement. Humanity will not be caged. The vote wasn't unanimous, but it was decisive. Hidden within the rings of Saturn, the Ceres shipyard was expanded, its power signature masked by experimental distortion fields. Resources poured in from every colony, rare metals from Martian mines, quantum processors from Europa's research stations, experimental alloys developed on Titan. Project Prometheus had begun. Commander Chen walked through the massive construction bay, the skeleton of the ship looming above her. Unlike the sleek utilitarian designs of Earth's military vessels, the Titan was built like a predator, angular, asymmetrical, with forward-swept wings housing the main weapon systems. Its hull was coated with light-absorbing metamaterials, making it appear as a void against the stars. Impressive, isn't it? Dr. Imani Okoro appeared beside her, dark circles under her eyes betraying months of minimal sleep. As the project's lead physicist, she hadn't rested properly in nearly a year. Will it work, Doctor? Chen asked, watching engineers in exosuits weld massive plates to the frame. Okoro handed her a tablet displaying quantum field simulations. The phase shift drive is stable in all tests. We can temporarily move the ship partially out of normal space-time, allowing it to. She searched for layman's terms, slide between dimensions. And as a weapon. Okoro's expression darkened. We can project the field externally. When focused on another vessel, it phases portions of the target out of alignment with the rest of its structure. The resulting stress, she winced, would tear apart any known material. Has anything like this been tried before? No civilized species would develop such technology, Okoro said quietly. The risks are immense. If the field becomes unstable, the cascade effect could potentially create a runaway reaction that tears holes in space-time itself. Chen handed back the tablet. Make it work, Doctor. Make it safe. Okoro laughed without humor. Safe? We're building a ship that could theoretically destabilize reality, Commander. We're building a deterrent, Chen corrected. Something so terrifying they'll negotiate rather than threaten us. Before Okoro could respond, an explosion rocked the station. Emergency klaxons blared as the lighting shifted to red. Chen's neural interface flashed with urgent notifications. Containment breach in Lab 7. A voice announced over the station's comm system. All personnel evacuate immediately. Chen and Okoro ran toward the emergency. They found chaos in the medical bay. Engineers with radiation burns, technicians with crushed limbs. The air smelled of antiseptic and fear. 17 injured, 5 critical, 2 dead, reported Dr. Marcus Lam, the station's chief medical officer. The phase shift testing chamber collapsed during an experiment. Okoro explained, her voice hollow. Chen saw a young engineer sitting alone, staring at nothing, blood trickling from a gash on his forehead. She recognized him as part of Okoro's core team. Was it sabotage? She asked Lam quietly. Lam shook his head. Just physics we don't fully understand yet. The field created unexpected harmonics in the chamber walls. Chen found Okoro examining the remains of her testing apparatus. Eliza didn't make it, she said without looking up. Brilliant engineer, 3 children on Mars. Chen placed a hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry, Doctor. Maybe they're right, Okoro whispered. Maybe there are technologies we aren't meant to control. The universe doesn't care what we're meant to do, Chen replied. The Concordat gave us a choice between submission and extinction. I'm choosing a third path. At what cost? Chen looked at the wounded crew members. Whatever it takes. 14 months later, the Titan was complete. Nearly half a kilometer long, its matte black hull swallowed light rather than reflected it. Its silhouette suggested a predatory sea creature from Earth's ancient oceans more than a spacecraft. Chen stood on the observation deck with her newly appointed executive officer, Commander Victor Ramirez, watching as the final calibrations were performed. She's beautiful, Ramirez said, in a terrifying way. Chen nodded. Ramirez had lost his parents when the Concordat destroyed an unauthorized research outpost in the Kuiper Belt, a warning that had killed 400 civilians. His hatred was personal, which made him both valuable and potentially dangerous. Status report, Chen requested. All systems at 92% readiness. Phase shift drive is stable in simulations. Weapons systems air. Ramirez smiled slightly. Well, let's just say I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end. Chen's neural interface chimed with an urgent message from Earth Command. Her blood ran cold as she processed the information. Concordat ships have been detected entering the system, she told Ramirez. At least 30 vessels moving directly toward Earth. They must have discovered the project. The Titan isn't ready, Ramirez protested. We need at least 2 more weeks for final testing. We don't have 2 weeks, Chen replied grimly. At their current speed, they'll reach Earth in 3 days. A plan formed in her mind. Chen activated her command channel. This is Commander Chen to all Titan personnel. Prepare for immediate deployment. I repeat, prepare for immediate deployment. She turned to Ramirez. Begin crew selection protocols. I need volunteers only. People who understand this may be a one-way mission. 6 hours later, as Sol's colonies prepared for possible annihilation, the Titan detached from its berth. Inside the command center, Chen strapped into the captain's chair. Ramirez and Okoro took their stations, along with 250 crew members, the best Earth had to offer. None knew if they would return. All systems online, Ramirez reported. Phase shift drive at standby. Chen looked at the faces around her, determined despite their fear. The best of humanity, ready to face the unknown. Communications, she ordered. Transmit to Earth Defense Command. The sword is drawn. She engaged the main drive. Titan, rise. As the massive warship accelerated toward the stars, Chen knew humanity's future now rested on a weapon too powerful to exist and perhaps too dangerous to use. But they were out of options and out of time. Defiance and diplomacy. The Titan moved through space like a phantom, its black hull virtually invisible against the backdrop of stars. Inside, the crew worked in tense silence, each aware of the weight of their mission. Status report, Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the pressure building behind her eyes. Ramirez checked his monitors, all systems functioning within parameters, stealth measures holding. The Concordat fleet hasn't detected us. And Earth's defenses? Chen asked. Okoro looked up from her station. They're deploying everything we have, but against 30 Concordat warships. She didn't finish. She didn't need to. Chen studied the tactical display. Earth had positioned its fleet in a defensive formation near the moon's orbit. It was a brave stand, but everyone knew it was hopeless. Human ships were simply outmatched in every category. We need to change the approach, Chen said suddenly. They expect us to defend Earth directly. We won't. Ramirez looked confused. Captain. Chen pointed to a position behind the alien formation. We'll approach from here. Target their rear support vessels first, then vanish before they can respond. Hit and run, Okoro asked. Chen nodded. We test the phase shift weapon on single targets, evaluate its effectiveness, then adjust our strategy based on results. This isn't a heroic last stand, Ramirez realized. It's guerrilla warfare against a superior force. Exactly, Chen confirmed. Communications, send a coded message to Admiral Reyes. Tell her to keep the Concordat fleet focused forward. We strike in 2 hours. High Commander XL Tavik of the Concordat forces surveyed the approaching human defenses with four-eyed contempt. His species, the Ardani, had dominated their sector of the galaxy for millennia. These humans with their primitive ships were barely worth his attention. Pathetic, he commented to his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Vesh. They send these toys against our battle cruisers. Vesh, more cautious by nature, studied the sensor readings. Our intelligence suggests the humans have been developing new technologies, High Commander. Nothing that can match our graviton shields or plasma cannons. Hell, Tevik dismissed. The Concordat has ruled the stars for 8,000 years. These newcomers need to learn their place. The prohibition on dimensional research was implemented after the schism nearly destroyed our ancestors. Vesh reminded him. No species discovers such technology independently. Okoro spun in her chair. Captain, we haven't tested the system at full power. The calculations. If we take out their commander, we might end this without more bloodshed. Chen cut her off. Do it. Ramirez hesitated, then locked weapons. Target acquired. Fire. The Titan shuddered as the phase shift array drew massive power. On the screen, a section of the Concordat flagship, nearly a third of the massive vessel, shimmered and disappeared. The effect was catastrophic. The flagship broke apart in seconds, secondary explosions rippling along its length as systems failed catastrophically. Did we get him? Chen asked. Unknown, Ramirez replied, checking sensors. Many escape pods launched before the ship broke up. Before they could celebrate, alarms blared throughout the Titan. Power surge in the phase shift array. Okoro shouted. The system's overloading. The ship shook violently. Lights flickered throughout the vessel. Shut it down, Chen ordered. Okoro's fingers flew across her controls. I'm trying. Something's wrong. The system is locked in an activation loop. Chen hit the ship-wide comm. All hands, brace for impact. A blinding flash enveloped the bridge. For a terrifying moment, Chen thought they had torn a hole in space-time itself. Then the light faded and the alarms quieted. Status report, she demanded. unstrapping from her chair. Ramirez looked stunned. "Captain, we've moved. We're now beyond Neptune's orbit." "That's impossible," Okoro whispered. "We're over 4 billion kilometers from our previous position." Chen stared at the display. Somehow, the Titan had phase-shifted itself, jumping an impossible distance in an instant. "The Concordat fleet?" she asked. "Still near Earth's orbit," Ramirez reported. "They're in disarray. 5 ships destroyed, 9 disabled." Okoro looked up in disbelief. "I think we just changed the course of the battle." She stared at her readings, "and possibly warfare forever." Chen turned to Okoro. "What just happened to my ship, Doctor?" Okoro shook her head, bewildered. "The phase shift field must have momentarily surrounded the entire vessel. We didn't just manipulate matter, Captain. We moved ourselves through space-time." Before Chen could respond, a new alert sounded. "Captain," Ramirez said, his voice tight, "we're detecting a quantum entanglement signal. It's bypassing all our communication security." "Source?" Chen demanded. "It's coming from within our ship," Ramirez replied. "Section C, Deck 4. Chen's blood ran cold. "That's the main engineering level. Security teams to Section C, Deck 4, immediately." The security feed showed a terrifying scene. Lieutenant Commander Julian Walsh, their chief systems engineer, had barricaded himself in the auxiliary control room. 3 security officers lay unconscious or dead outside the sealed doors. "Walsh." Chen activated the room's comm system. "What are you doing?" Walsh looked up at the camera, his face unnaturally calm. "What's necessary, Captain?" "The Concordat was right to quarantine us. You've built an abomination. He's locked us out of the phase shift controls," Okoro reported, her fingers dancing across her console. "He's programmed a recursive power buildup. The drive will overload in 10 minutes. He's trying to destroy the ship," Ramirez said. "No," Chen realized, looking at the calculations scrolling across her display. "He's trying to create a dimensional rift. If the drive overloads in that specific sequence, it would tear open a hole in space-time." Okoro finished, her face ashen. "The damage could spread across the entire solar system." "Can you stop it?" Chen asked. Okoro shook her head. "Not remotely. Someone needs to get into that room and manually reset the quantum matrix." "I'm going," Chen said, already moving toward the door. "Captain," Ramirez began. "That's an order, Commander. You have the con." Chen raced through the corridors of the Titan, her neural interface, mapping the fastest route to the auxiliary control room. When she arrived, the security team was cutting through the reinforced door with plasma torches. "Time?" she asked. 4 minutes, Captain," the security chief replied. "Not fast enough," Chen muttered. She studied the schematics of the room, looking for another entry point. "The maintenance shaft. I can get in through there." The shaft was barely wide enough for her body. Chen pulled herself through, ignoring the scorching heat from power conduits that lined the narrow space. She emerged through a floor panel into the auxiliary control room. Walsh spun, drawing a sidearm. "Stop there, Captain." Chen raised her hands. "Julian, why? You were the strongest advocate for the Titan project." "I was wrong," Walsh replied, his voice eerily calm. "I've seen the simulations, what happens when this technology proliferates. The Concordat knows. They've seen it before." "You're working for them." "With them," Walsh corrected. "They contacted me 6 months ago. Showed me the truth. Dimensional weapons ended entire civilizations in the past. This ship should never have been built." Chen took a careful step forward. "If you're right, then help us use it responsibly. Be the conscience of the project." Walsh shook his head. "Too late for that. The Concordat was clear. Humanity cannot be trusted with this power." He gestured to the console behind him. "In 2 minutes, the phase shift drive will overload. The Titan will be erased from existence, and with it, this dangerous technology." And millions of innocent people if the rift spreads to Earth, Chen said. Is that what you want? Doubt flickered across Walsh's face. They'd promised the effect would be contained. They lied, Chen said, taking another step forward. Look at the simulation. The recursive sequence you initiated will create a cascading dimensional fracture. She nodded toward the screen where Okoro had pushed the simulation from the bridge. Walsh turned to look, his grip on the weapon loosening momentarily. Chen lunged. The weapon discharged, the energy bolt grazing her shoulder. Pain seared through her arm, but she pushed through it, tackling Walsh to the ground. They struggled briefly, but Chen's combat training gave her the advantage. She struck a precise blow to his temple, and Walsh went limp. With less than a minute remaining, Chen scrambled to the console. Her injured arm hung useless at her side as she worked the controls with her good hand, resetting the quantum matrix and purging the recursive sequence. The countdown froze at 7 seconds. Chen collapsed into the chair, her uniform soaked with blood. She activated her neural interface. Bridge, this is the captain. Situation contained. The drive is stable. Medical team to auxiliary control. Ramirez's voice came through immediately. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Concordat fleet. Put it through, Chen said wearily. The holographic display flickered to life, showing an Ardani face, but not Excel Tavik. It was Sub-Commander Vesh. Human vessel, Vesh said, his translator rendering his words in precise English. High Commander Excel Tavik is dead. I speak for the Concordat fleet now. What do you want, Sub-Commander? Chen asked. To survive, Vesh replied simply. Your weapon has demonstrated capabilities we did not anticipate. I am authorized to offer a ceasefire. Chen straightened despite her pain. A ceasefire isn't enough. Humanity needs room to grow. We cannot remain confined to this system. Vesh was silent for a long moment. The Concordat Assembly will not easily change its decision. Then perhaps it's time for new voices in your assembly, Chen suggested. Earth would be willing to send representatives to discuss mutual concerns, including the responsible use of dimensional technology. Another pause. This is unprecedented. So is today, Chen replied. We've both seen what this technology can do. For good or ill, we can either find a way forward together, or we can destroy each other. The choice is yours. Vesh's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Chen couldn't interpret. I will convey your proposal to the assembly. In the meantime, a provisional agreement. We will withdraw to the Kuiper Belt. You will power down your dimensional weapons. We will meet in neutral space to discuss terms. Agreed, Chen said. After the transmission ended, Ramirez contacted the bridge. Captain, was that wise? We've got them on the run. We also nearly tore a hole in the fabric of reality, Chen replied. Walsh was right about one thing. This technology is too dangerous to use without understanding the consequences. Medical personnel arrived. Tending to her wound as security took the unconscious Walsh into custody. What now, Captain? Okoro asked through the comm. Chen looked at the stars visible through the small viewport, thinking of the countless worlds that might now be within humanity's reach, not through conquest, but through cooperation and mutual respect. Now, she said, we prove that humanity deserves its place among the stars. The Titan had awakened as a weapon of war, but perhaps its true purpose would be to forge a lasting peace, one that would allow humanity to expand beyond the confines of its birth system and into a galaxy of untold wonders and possibilities. As the ship turned toward the designated meeting point, Chen knew that the greatest challenges still lay ahead. The Concordat would not easily change its ways, and humanity would need to prove it could be trusted with technologies that defied the very laws of physics. But for the first time since the alien message had arrived, she felt something she had almost forgotten: hope.